All right, here we are. Back. Poolside Bets is back. Feels good to be back. Seems like it's been forever, only because we missed a couple of days. This is Friday night, December, January the 6th, right, Paul? January
Yep,
6th. Yeah,
2023.
we waited a little bit. We wanted to see what was going on around the world of sports, especially the NFL. Kind of see what was going on before we recorded. So we're recording this January the 6th. You'll probably hopefully I'll get this posted tonight, but hopefully you'll get it at least by Saturday morning. So if there's anything special you need to see for tomorrow, we'll make talk a little bit of college basketball. We don't know, but mostly a lot of NFL and some other topics around the world of sports. But this is Cash and Tickets, brought to you by Poolside Bets. Poolside Bets is me. That's Franklin Johnson. To my left over here, Paul Robertson. Of course,
All
on the
right.
screen, it looks probably a little different. But me and Paul are here. Poolside Bets on Twitter at Poolside Bets, at the YouTube Poolside Bet, no S. Remember, hit the like and subscribe button and hit the little bell so you get notifications. You know when it's coming up.
And don't be scared to comment, even if we're wrong or right. It
Or
don't
even if we
matter.
comment 2 weeks later, we got to. It was funny, Paul. We kept seeing this. We saw a couple of comments from a guy named Jerry, and I wasn't catching on. But my buddy Bradley, his father-in-law's best friend Jerry, who I went to the LSU game with, he
Nice.
was the one commenting. You remember the whole bathroom comment? Like, what if the lights go off in the bathroom or something like that? And I was like, I have no idea what that's about. That was my boy Jerry from up in New Jersey. So shout out to Jerry. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry I didn't catch the comment. It was a little time after. But, hey, shout out to Jerry and Bill. A lot of fun at the LSU game, even though we didn't win. And looking forward to next year's trip to whatever SEC football game we go to. So
You think we'd fit in New Jersey?
I did, absolutely. Right there on the island. They didn't.
How do you do a Joyzy?
You don't. You just you
just-
do. You know what you do. You
do
do.
you?
We do what we do because they love it.
Oh, yeah?
They're like, oh, you're not from around here, and don't try to buy a beer in the Wawa, by the way, because they don't sell it in the
Sound like
service
something
station.
in a nudie magazine.
No, that's their Double Quick, basically.
Oh.
It's called a Wawa. And don't try to pump your own gas, for goodness sakes. They do not allow that there in New Jersey. So you pull up to the tank. You pull up to the thing, let somebody else pump your gas, and you're going to pay for it. But that's just part of it.
They got natty lights up there?
I don't even remember if I looked. They had right across the street from the hotel that I stayed in was this massive liquor store. Right before you go across the
Yeah.
bridge to get to the island, where everything was happening, where Bill lives. I can't remember the name of the. I wish I could remember the. I'm sure anybody listening that's from New Jersey knows exactly what I'm talking about. They got a boardwalk little place down there. We went and rode a few rides, things like that. A lot of fun, a lot of good pizza that I had there. So a lot of fun. So shout out Bill and Jerry. I hope you watch the next episode or this episode and holler back at us. We'd love to talk to you. Can't wait to see you again. So happy New Year to everybody. 2023. Let's try to start it off with a bang. I think Paul and I have done okay. And this is where we fail a little bit because we do so much talking to each other and we forget that we have a Twitter site,
hell.
and we forget to go out on there and say, hey, these are our plays. And college basketball is fun. We love it. Don't get me wrong, we love college football, but we love college basketball. We probably already got to start talking to the Gold Strike about getting some rooms up there, right, for the big tournament come March.
And it's going to be fun.
So we'll hope to be posted up there in March. We got a lot of things coming. We're going to try to dive back into the horses. They're already running their third Derby points race tomorrow.
The sham stakes is sometime.
Yeah, something. So horses are already starting to accumulate points for the Derby, and we love to watch that to make sure we know the horses that are going to compete in the Triple Crown races. So we'll get into that too. But hey, right in the middle. We're about to start NFL playoffs, which are so much fun, especially this year. So many teams that I think could make something happen in the playoffs, and we got a lot of.
It's parody.
And we're going to get to the NFL. We're going to touch some other topics. But anyway, welcome into Cash and Tickets. And
need to talk about how poorly run that thing is.
The NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had an opportunity, and they completely screwed it up. And I'm going to dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, good.
But first topic, let's just mention it because everybody else in the world that has a podcast or has anything that they're doing, you know the first topic they're talking about when they talk about the NFL. They're talking about Monday night's football game and the just the awful scene that happened that night. I was watching it live, and it was bad when I saw it, when I saw Damar Hamlin go to the ground, because the first thing I saw was his legs shaking. And I'm looking at my wife, and I'm like, this looks horrible. It looked like he was having a seizure because it didn't look like an injury. You know, they keep saying injury. And because that's not an injury, you know what I mean? That's not an injury. That's something happening to a man that you just to see it live is awful, especially for the people on the field there. Just a freak accident that happens there.
Yeah, they had a big thing about, I don't know what staff he was from. One of the guys that went out there and immediately started doing CPR, pretty much saved his life.
Well, it's like he obviously knew what he saw. He had seen it before, probably.
You take for granted that all the time, but those medical people and they know.
Look,
what they're doing.
First shout out is to the people on the field that took care of that. I was talking to a uncle of mine today, and we were discussing that, and he mentioned he remembered a story of a kid playing baseball in Arkansas some years back. He got hit in the chest by a baseball, and it did the exact same thing to him that it did to Damar Hamlin. And this kid passed away because they didn't have the equipment at the field to get his heart started back. You know, so that's how dire that situation was. And the fact that those first responders, the people that got on the field and that took care of this kid, and you see grown men, but he's a kid. He's, 24? I think. Damar Hamlin, 2 years out of college.
Yeah, he ain't been there long.
Your boy Kenny Pickett played with him, I think, at Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, that's right.
It's just, hey, shout out. They don't get enough credit. It's mostly about the players, but I mean, shout out to that crew, everybody that took care of him on the field, just to get him to the hospital to where he could get the care that he needed.
Yeah, it was. They did right. I think it was today where he finally actually spoke.
Yeah, spoke today to the team. I saw a little short video earlier where Sean McDermott said that he couldn't understand him real well, but the fact that he's talking.
Yeah, first thing he asked him if they won.
Yeah, when they woke him up, did we win?
What the other guy look like?
I mean, shout out to that kid. You know, just all heart, and he's thinking about his team. I mean, that's fantastic. And you'll
said he flexed. He's like, ah.
You know what? That's kind of a thing that I think we overlook sometimes, is that these guys play. Like, I'm a 49ers fan, right? So I know those guys by name. I don't know them, but I know their names, and I try to dive into what they are, and I listen and who they are as a person. And you listen to podcasts, you listen to interviews, but they wear your colors. And then the next year, if they're traded and they don't wear your colors, you don't care. You know what I mean? I mean, in honesty, you don't really think about them. But you know, this situation. I think it made everybody realize, look, these people are just like the rest of us. Anything can happen at any time. I mean, this is an awful situation. And shout out to all the people that donated to his charity. His toy drive is now booming.
I saw it was like $4,000 and it was up to 4 million.
Yeah. I mean, unbelievable.
I hate he had to go through that. That's the way we doing.
Yeah, right. I mean, to have to go through that to get but I'm. You know, shout out to his family and everybody that prayed and lifted him up. Whether you pray or don't pray, or whether you believe in higher power or don't, whether you just sent positive vibes his way, I mean, it works. So, anyway, shout out to Hamlin and his family, and hope the kid continues to recover. And whether he ever plays another down of football, just the fact that he's up and will probably walk out of that hospital is a miracle in himself. I mean, so
crazy.
Anyway, I don't know really how you transition out of that. I mean, that somber situation, but now that it's a heartwarming situation, you know, knowing that he's up and he's up and he's talking. I mean, that's a great sign.
You can go play football now.
Hopefully he can. Probably be. Maybe it won't be next year. Maybe it'll probably take. You think about the mental toll it's going to take on that kid to get back on the field.
He's probably going to want to go. There's going to be people around him going, "Oh hell no!"
Think about his mother. Can you imagine being his mother or his father saying, "Hey, dude, let's have a conversation." I know if it was my son, I mean, my son's only 7, and I already had the thoughts. Even though I know he's not going to probably play sports, but if he does, and if he mentions football, I'm gonna go directly to this situation and think this is what could happen.
Yeah, back when we were coming up, it was always the neck injuries that were the big thing, but now it's the head and then what happened to him. There's so much involved in that.
I can remember sitting with my wife watching on the exact same field, watching Ryan Shazier get hit, and what he's. Did he get to where he could walk with some crutches or something? That took some years.
No, yeah, he just. Yeah.
But he never played football again.
No.
I mean, obviously, the bad injury. I mean, it's hard to watch that and then think, oh yeah, I'm gonna let my kid do that.
I think he's coaching now. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, so look, whatever happens in Damar Hamlin's future, I think he's gonna be. He seems like a really good kid. I don't think this is going to deter his future going forward. So, I mean, just amazing how he's come through this, and we wish all the best for Damar Hamlin and his family moving forward. Before we get into the games, something else, like I said, I don't know how you don't really transition out of that very well, but some talk around. I mean, I know we got the national championship coming up in college football, but just talking about some college football, you got a lot of recruiting, transfer portal, and all things, and coaches moving around. Speaking of coaches. What I wanted to bring up, Paul. This guy leaves. Where's it? Missouri State. Where was Petrino at?
Oh yeah.
No, not Missouri. Where was he at when they played Arkansas this year?
They were the Bearcats. You may be right. It may be Missouri.
No,
State.
Missouri State is. I don't think they're the Bearcats, so it may not have been. Anyway, Bobby Petrino takes the offensive coordinator job at UNLV. I think he followed another coach. I think he had the job for a couple of days, and then A&M comes over the top. And
all the money.
All the money. And now Bobby Petrino.
Yeah, Missouri State.
Yeah, so Bobby Petrino is now going to be the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M. And I'm just going to tell you, I know that it's been a S show at Texas A&M, but if Jimbo Fisher can find it in himself to let this guy take over, they're going to be a problem.
They're going to be a problem until the whole thing just goes belly up.
No, I agree with you. I just if Fisher stays out of the way, they're going to be because the guy can coach.
He's going to move the ball
because he's shown you that he did it one way. 6, 7, 8, 10, 9, 10 years ago, and he's still doing it. That means he can change with the times, and he continues to find a way to coach offense, and he's really, really good at it. I don't know if he's probably taking this gig to see if he can ever get another head coaching job, but he's got to be getting up there in age, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
probably closer to 70.
It may be his last stop, but hey, it may be a good one. I mean, they've got talent is not the issue at A&M.
I just don't. I'm assuming him and Jimbo have a previous relationship somewhere down the line.
You think? I don't know.
I would hate to think they're just going to walk into this thing blind. Those two egos in a room. Oh, and they're both offensive-minded coaches.
Yeah. So what happens the first time that they don't score 30 or something?
Yeah.
I mean, what?
And I ain't gonna lie. You put Jimbo Fisher and Bobby Petrino in a room. You tell me to pick one to run my offense. I'm
taking Petrino. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Fisher's shown you he can't do it anymore, or he's not willing to change his style. So, yeah, give me Petrino each and every day of the week. I mean, he's one of the best offensive minds still in college football, in my opinion.
Yeah, short of having Jameis Winston at Florida State, what did Jimbo Fisher do?
Nothing. I mean, he was okay at LSU. Wasn't he under Saban at LSU?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you how ignorant I am about him. I thought he was a DC forever. I thought he was a defensive coordinator. I didn't know nothing. Anyway.
Yeah, so that's kind of the big trickle in college football outside of the championship game. So let's move forward to Monday night's action.
Yeah.
TCU The Horned Frogs are going to tangle with the Georgia Bulldogs.
They gonna get out there and get on the same field with
And
them.
I made the one mistake I had not made all year. I had not made this mistake all year. I had not disrespected TCU all year long
Well,
until the Michigan game.
uh-oh.
I just thought what I had seen from Michigan. I don't know what was wrong with Ohio State in that game, but apparently they didn't stick to the script, or they thought they could do something different against Michigan. And I just thought that Michigan defense, what I'd seen all year, would be able to not shut down. That's not the word. I even said to you, I thought TCU would keep it close to the third quarter. But boy, I did not see that coming. I didn't see would they put up 50, 48, 51
Yeah,
points.
I was pulling for TCU, but I never thought in a million years that score would be what it was.
I didn't either, and that's on me. And so I'm not gonna making that mistake twice. You're giving me TCU. You give me the Horned Frogs with Max Duggan and Quinston Johnson with 12 points. I can't lay 12 with the Bulldogs in that game. Can you? I mean, what are your thoughts here?
There's only one play for me, and the reason I say this is I think Michigan did not understand or was not ready for the TCU speed.
No.
They were way too quick, way too fast. They're way too good offensively. They're really good at what they do. Georgia, on the other hand, they're not going to outrun them, in my opinion. If there's the only play that I have, and I'm probably going to take, is the over 62.
Oh, I like that play.
Because I'm not going to take a side here because I just see. I mean, you don't know, backdoor cover, something like that, whatever. Some silly stuff happened, but I think that Michigan was not ready for their speed, and I heard that all leading up to it. They're not going to be able to handle the speed. Not going to be able to handle the speed until it got on the field, and I was like, "Oh, Big Ten football at its best, baby."
Hey, but shout out! I mean, Michigan made that thing a game, and they kept JJ McCarthy kept fighting.
Yeah, he's good.
Kept coming back. I mean, I like the over there. I'm with you on that, and speed is not a problem for Georgia. But hey, Ohio State showed you that they had some speed too, and Michigan handled Ohio State. They could not handle TCU.
Yeah,
Maybe the offensive speed in the Big 12. You know, they've always been an offensive league, the Big 12. Maybe they just have more speed now than any big defensive team can handle.
They know how to move the football. But
That's why I think if you're giving me double-digit points, that's why I think TCU's the play here. I don't know that they can win. Georgia always seems to find a way, and it seems like too many points to me.
It's one of them deals where if you have the opportunity, and I say this a lot, is the live bet maybe.
Yeah.
Just watch how the first opening drive goes for TCU.
And most
That's
people
going to tell you everything.
And most people probably going to be exactly the way I was thinking about the Michigan game. They're probably going to think TCU will keep it close to late in the third quarter. And like you're saying, Georgia may backdoor that thing and they be up 6 and then score late and win by 13.
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, I know that kid's tough as nails, but they're gonna hit him.
Look,
They're gonna hit him.
People have hit him all year, and he just keeps coming at you. Keep coming at you.
I know. I just don't think. I think Michigan's defense was really good for
Big Ten.
85% of the country.
Right. Yeah. You put up any team that doesn't have that team speed on offense, they shut you down.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still a really good football team, regardless of the loss. Yeah. And now, I forgot about that. I should have mentioned that. Talking about movement in college football. Big talk about Harbaugh going to the NFL.
Yeah, but I mean, go back to that game just a minute. So you see what happened. I know it was a ball game. Alabama went there and beat the shit out of Kansas State. Kansas State beat TCU. I know it's apples. TCU Super Bowl, K-State Super Bowl was the Big 12 championship.
Right, it absolutely was. Yes.
But if it tells you anything, there's just a difference. There's a different animal in the whole thing, and that's just kind of where I'm at. Ohio State outplayed anything I thought they would be able to do against Georgia.
They did.
But now you got a pissed off Georgia team.
Well, you do, because they're not gonna like that at all.
There's some checks got held, some food cards got pulled. They eating bologna sandwiches.
You think some calls were made to some mamas and papas about?
Not good.
Yeah, it could have been. So Paul likes the over. I kind of like TCU plus the points, but just watch our Twitter feed. We're going to do, like I was mentioning to Paul before we got started, we're going to do a better job of putting the plays out on the Twitter. We got
to get us a Twitter handler. And
We need a handler.
and a
Yeah.
TikTok handler.
Yeah, and the daughter, she said she tried to sign on to log in and she couldn't get it, so we got to get her set back up. I don't know. That was her excuse anyway.
Okay.
So we'll try to get that going. Maybe do some quick shout outs on the TikTok about what our plays are, and we'll do a better job on Twitter because we have not been bad in college basketball. We've had some misses, but we've had some pretty good hits there.
I've done good in Miami. Missed on Miami.
Missed on Miami, but I think I hit 3 other games
That's
that
a
night
really
outside
good-
of that game.
That's a really good basketball team. They just lost.
Georgia Tech just kind of blitzed them early, and they fought. The thing was, and you know how it is in any basketball game, when you get down big and you have to fight back, your legs are just dead at the end of the end of the game. That's kind of what happened there. All right, so here we are, week 18 in the NFL.
Nuffle.
A lot of good, intriguing games, but because of the Bills games getting canceled, there's some less intrigue. There's some pretty good intrigue in the NFC. Watch yourselves in these games because there's going to be people sitting out. There's going to be teams laying down, not playing players. But we've got some thoughts on the NFL. And before we even get in the games, can I just say for the best program run in sports is the NFL. They're the king.
Yeah,
nobody
money.
can dispute it. They are the king of sports.
Yeah.
I get it.
They moved the needle.
But boy, I've got some issues with their scheduling this week. I mean, you really screwed up here.
They have screwed the pooch.
Tell me why the Titans and Jags, right? I got it right this time. I didn't say Texans. Remember how many times we talked today? I kept saying the Texans.
You've had enough practice.
Right? The Titans and Jags are a win and you're in, right?
That's right.
That's the only game this weekend that's win and in. I mean, regardless of what else happens, that's the only game that's win and in.
Yeah.
And they're playing on Saturday. Why is that not the Sunday night game?
Should be.
Regardless of eyeballs, people will watch. It's winning, you're in.
Yeah, they're screwing Detroit and the other team.
The Packers.
Yeah.
There's no reason the Packers and Lions should play that night. They should play at the same time the Seahawks are playing.
That's right.
Because if the Seahawks win in the early part of the schedule on Sunday, the Lions are out.
Yeah. What's their incentive? And then there's teams that need the Packers to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, they need the.
Well, the Seahawks need the Packers to lose.
Yeah, so there's teams that need the Packers to lose, and
But
then
here's the thing,
they
if
go to lame duck Lions teams that don't care.
If the Seahawks win, like they're like, well, we have to win, but we also need the Lions to beat the Packers. Why is that game not at 3:25 at the exact same time?
They screwed this up.
Man, you got to do better than that. Screw the ratings.
It's not too late. You could flex it right now.
They could call all the teams right now and say, hey, look, we're moving Titans Jags to Sunday night. We're putting the Packers or we're going to move a different game. We could move the Texans Colts to Saturday.
They can move the New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles to Sunday night because the market will cover the ratings.
The market will cover the ratings. Yeah, move that game. Absolutely. Or move the Cowboys Commanders to Sunday night.
Nobody want to see that shit on Sunday night.
It's the Cowboys. People will watch because it's the Cowboys.
Maybe, I don't know.
I won't watch because I can't stand the Cowboys. You know what I mean?
Give me a Commander's hat.
I mean, come on, man. So, anything else you got on the scheduling for NFL? That was just the biggest deal to me. I don't get it.
I don't know what they're thinking because they could have flexed it, and then the way they handled the injury is 100%. I'm convinced that Goodell would have played that game if they would have let him.
Absolutely,
he wanted to play that.
You know
game.
what?
He had no gives a shits about the kid on the field, and no cares about the family, the players on the field. None of that. He wanted to play the game.
You know what I saw? You know what I saw today in a tweet? Somebody was pissed off at Joe Burrow because they tweeted out Joe Burrow warming up on the sideline after after they got him in the ambulance.
Yeah.
They showed Joe Burrow warming up on the sideline, and they said Joe Burrow doesn't give a shit about this other kid. He's ready to play. Do you think he would have been warming up if the NFL had not told him to warm
They
up?
announced that they had a 5-minute warm up.
Joe Buck said
and
it.
then walked it back like he didn't say it. Then the
Look.
NFL said, "Well, we didn't tell him to say that." Yes, you
Yes,
did.
And I'm not the biggest Joe Buck fan in the world.
Damn.
I think I've made that, and this has nothing to do with what he does. I think he's a really good. He's a really good play-by-play guy.
Okay.
What Joe Buck does professionally, he's good.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a fan of him personally because I've met him, but whatever. But regardless of that, regardless of my personal feelings, the guy's good at what he does.
Well.
There's no way Joe Buck was going to say they're giving him 5 minutes to warm up if somebody had not have told him
They
that.
didn't make that up.
Yeah, he just didn't make that up. So the NFL's throwing everybody. They threw Joe Buck under the bus. They threw Troy Aikman under the bus. That's awful. I mean, that's NFL is. Look,
It's bad.
Shout out to the coaches for going to midfield and saying, "Hey, let's take these dudes to the locker room.
Yeah, screw these guys. Let's go home.
Right? Let's do what's right." I mean, nobody's seen that. They say that. I heard today that back in the 70s, I think a Detroit Lions player maybe passed away at a football game. But it wasn't a Monday night deal. It was people, back then there wasn't a whole lot of TV coverage. So something has happened worse, but it wasn't shown like this on the big stage.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
All right, so
Okay.
let's just go down the slate, Paul. I don't know any other way to do it. Let's just go down the slate of these games and let's talk about them because we both have thoughts on every game about whether somebody's invested or not invested or what they're going to do. And did you hear anything about how they're going to decide the number one? Like, has the Chiefs already wrapped it up? Because
I heard so much crap about that damn near a coin toss. I don't know what they're going to do.
because you know that the Bills actually have the tiebreaker against it because they beat the Chiefs, right? Didn't they beat the Chiefs?
I think so.
But since they're not playing that other game, they'll have one less loss. So it seems like the Chiefs will get the number one seed if they beat the Raiders Saturday.
Just you got to play everybody anyway. I know the bye's a bye, but just line up and play. You can't.
They're not going to.
You can't bitch too much about all this because of what happened. You
Right.
can't-
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, somebody grow. We got to be adults about the whole thing.
So the first game on the slate, 3:30 Saturday, Chiefs visit the Raiders, the Jarrett Stidham Raiders.
That's right.
And the Chiefs are a 9-point favorite. And the last few games where they've been over a 7-point favorite, they have not done well.
No.
So I don't know. I think if they win, they lock up the 1 seed. I guess I haven't seen them much. I don't know, but I don't know if they're going to win by 9.5. I'm not playing this game.
I got to play on this, and it's Jared Stidham over 239 passing yards.
Ooh, I like that. The boy looked pretty good against the number 1 defense in the league, but that 49ers defense, they got shown some things that they gotta fix in that game. They double teamed Bosa all night long, and that defensive line is great, but they rolled him out of the pocket really quick, and he made the right. And they got the best wide receiver in the league in Devontae Adams, if you ask me. Some of the plays he made in that game were absolutely ridiculous. You can argue with me, Justin Jefferson or Devontae Adams. I'll take Devontae all day long, twice on
Yeah,
Sundays.
that's good. So it's down to 238.5 now.
For Stidham's over.
Yeah, just for reference, this is not his first time playing in this system. He's already played in this system.
He played with.
This is why the guy made the move, and he wasn't. I mean, he knew he was going to catch hell over the Derek Carr situation. But, the guy knows his system.
Right.
So it's not like you got a guy coming off the bench that don't know anything or a rookie. This Stidham can run this offense.
And
the Chiefs defensive backfield are nothing special.
No, and I'll tell you this. McDaniels, whatever you think of him as a head coach, he's an incredible offensive coordinator.
They can dial it up.
So I'll give him that. If he can, manage this game properly, I think the Raiders have a chance to stick around, and they're going to play hard.
I got to go make a beer run.
All right. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to play this game. I kind of like Paul player prop there with Stidham over 238 because he's going to be slinging it. What do they got to lose? Go out there and Devontae Adams probably has some. He's probably hit all his escalators. He's got 95 receptions for over 1,400 yards. So I don't know if he needs more escalators or not to hit some, and with 14 touchdowns as well. I can't imagine he hasn't hit everything in his contract to get all the extra bonus money that he can get. So, but I would imagine Stidham's going to sling that thing around. And here's the thing. When they're healthy, like they haven't all been healthy all year. They had Renfro, Adams, and Waller on the same field for like maybe the third game all year.
And didn't the running back lead the league in rushing?
Yeah, Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing. But they haven't all been on the field except for that last week against the 49ers.
Yep.
And so just watch that game. I think that's a place where you could take the 9 points there against the Chiefs. I don't know how hard. They're probably do enough just to win.
They got 32-22 on the sports line.
I just don't see a 10. It's in Las Vegas. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, it's no play for me. Here's a game, 7:15 Saturday night, which should be the Sunday night game. But Tennessee Titans visit the Jacksonville Jaguars for the AFC South, right?
Yep.
AFC South crown. The winner of this game goes to the playoffs as the number 4 seed.
Yep.
I wish this was 5.5. But I love the Jags here.
Me too.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence has shown me something in the last. Like, I was kind of worried. Is he going to be that guy? You know, I loved him coming out of college.
Well, they got a real head coach finally that can actually,
But the kid has put them on his back in a few games coming down the stretch. He's shown some moxie. I love Travis Etienne. He's running good in that backfield as well. Now they need to go into next year. They need to upgrade the wide receiver position, obviously. But I love the Jags here. I really wish it was 5.5. It's 6.5. Maybe come Saturday you can get it at 5.5. But I mean, who are the tight? They're starting Joshua Dobbs, right? Is that the guy?
Yeah, Dobbs. He's pretty good.
How do you already given up on your number 1 draft pick?
I do not know. Dobbs is
Wait,
good.
he didn't go in the first round, did he? Malik Willis went in second round or third?
I thought he was mid first round or first.
No, Pickett was the only first round quarterback taken.
Oh, he was early second round then.
Yeah,
had to have been. Right.
But already given up on the Malik Willis deal there in Tennessee.
Dobbs can run. I mean, I watched him a lot at Pittsburgh, and I never did. He's very intelligent. He's really good.
Well, he's a rocket scientist.
Yeah,
Isn't that the whole deal when he was at Tennessee?
Yeah, right.
How smart
really,
he was. Yeah.
He's not. He'll get them out of plays they shouldn't be in. He'll take over the feed or run the ball, whatever.
He's very cerebral.
I have two plays on this game.
Okay.
For some reason, I got the Jags -6. I don't know if is it going up
on ESPN right now, 6.5, and I know that's not. I don't know where they get their lines from, but it's 6.5
right now. I hope that summation don't keep going up. And
I don't either.
And then I like Jared Stidham over 239.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Okay.
He's gonna sling it. What do they got to lose? Man, he's gonna be throwing it.
No. So if you're into the same game parlay stuff, maybe take Etienne to get it to score anytime touchdown with Stidham over and the Jags minus the
That's
whatever
not the
point.
same. You can't do a same game parlay with Stidham and Etienne.
Oh, he don't play for Jacksonville.
No.
I mean,
Stidham plays for the Raiders.
That's right. I messed that up.
Yeah. Same game parlay. Maybe you take Etienne, you take Jacksonville, and then you take. I don't know what the over/under for Trevor Lawrence is.
No, Lawrence 263 is what I was talking about.
Over 263.
I reread
the
same.
Okay, I got you.
I
got you. Trevor Lawrence. All right, I got you. Same game parlay. Trevor Lawrence over 263. Etienne anytime touchdown and the Jags. Right.
-6. Yes.
I love that. I love it.
No.
I like the Jags here. I think they could be scary in the playoffs. I'm going to be watching. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for the playoffs to get started. And then we'll move to Sunday. And I'm just going to go down the list here. I mean, all these 12 o'clock games. You got the Bucks at the Falcons. The Bucks have already wrapped up their spot. Falcons are a 4-point favorite.
Don't bet that game.
Don't touch it. Don't even. The Buccaneers ain't going to play anybody. Anybody that's got a boo-boo. If they literally have a Band-Aid on, they're probably sitting on the sideline. So stay away from that game. Maybe if the Falcons were not favored, maybe you take the Falcons there. But anyway, that game means nothing to either team.
Yeah, I screwed my stuff up. I got them all reversed over here. I got them in the right order, but I didn't have the.
Oh, you'll get it together.
Well,
So you got the.
We'll see.
Got the New England Patriots visiting the Buffalo Bills. You know, that's tough for the Bills. Of course, they've got to be on a high now, knowing that their brother in arms is doing okay. But I don't know how much they're going to play. I mean, really, I don't think the number one seed is in reach just because they won't have the wins that the Chiefs have. But the Patriots need this game, man, or if they win, or Pats. If they beat the Bills, the Pats are in.
Yeah, if the Patriots, and that puts the Steelers out, I believe.
It does. It puts them and the Dolphins out. So this is the Pats are winning in. What would the mindset of the Bills be? I don't know. Tough game to cap here. Bills -7. I'd probably lean to the Patriots. Goodness gracious. Patriots plus the 7 just because they're gonna throw the kitchen sink at them.
There's a ton of money coming in on the under. It's over 90% of the money bet on the under on this game.
Over under, I get it right now is 43.5.
Bills are 12-3 to the under this year.
Okay. And the Patriots probably won't light it up with Mac Jones. I mean, they don't have the wide receivers. I mean, they got a pretty decent running back in Stevenson. I don't know. I would lean if I was making a bet, I would lean Patriots plus 7. There, that's all I can say. Talking about a meaningless another. I mean, of course, the Vikings have to win to keep the number. They have to win to keep the hopes alive. They can get back into the number 2 seed, but they're playing the Bears on the road. I don't know if the Vikings really care if they're the 2 or the 3 seed. And Minnesota is -6 here. I don't trust I've told you I don't trust Minnesota. That defense is not good. So I just that's a tough game for me. That's a stay away. I don't know what to do with the Vikings and Bears. You got any thoughts there on the Vikings and Bears?
Well, it's the black and blue division. Used to be they just ran into each other.
Well, that's what it used to be. I mean, Minnesota wants to sling it around. How much do they let Cook play? They got to keep Dalvin Cook healthy.
They got it 27-19. That's an 8-point win for the Vikings. There's no reason to bet this game.
Nope. 12 o'clock, another game. The Baltimore Ravens are visiting the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals have now, because their game will not be played with the Bills, they have wrapped up the division. The Ravens can no longer win that division. They are going to be locked in they're locked in the 5th or 6th seed, depending on what them and the San Diego Chargers do. But there's not a lot of difference between the 5th and the 6th seed, so I don't know how motivated they're going to be to play this game.
Yeah, the line's climbing just because they don't think.
And Cincinnati's -9 now. I don't. Yeah. I mean, but the Ravens have been pretty hit by the injury bug, so I don't know if they're going to play many people there. But will Joe Burrow play? I mean, will Jamar Chase play?
They're hammering the under on this one too, but it's 39.5.
39.5. It's come. Yeah, it's down.
Goodness.
That one's like, again. All my notes are. I mean, the Ravens could fight and win it and hope San Diego loses and the Ravens get the 5th seed. It's all about who you play in the first round. Maybe they want to play a different team, but I don't know how motivated they're going to be. I mean, you're in the playoffs, right? You want to be healthy going into the playoffs. So that's another tough game. Just watch for inactives as the game comes available. Sunday morning, look for Schefter, see who's inactive, who's active, and who's going to play and not play.
Yeah, and another thing too, it's still a division game. I mean, even though it may not matter to them, they're going to be they'll play hard.
Well, yeah, I mean
the guys on the field,
guys that will play are going to play hard, absolutely, because they're showcasing themselves for next year. So, yeah, I don't hate the Ravens +9 there. I mean, if I'm being honest, I mean that's a big line. That's a big line for a game for two teams that don't care. You take the Ravens +9 and the under 40.
That Ravens defense is good, especially if they pull Burrow early.
Yeah, if Burrow doesn't play, I mean, yeah, absolutely. All right, here's a game that I actually like.
Here we go.
Texans at the Colts. It's somebody I know. Everybody shout, "What is he talking about?" The Colts are.
I'm listening. What do we like about this one?
Colts have no quarterbacks. I mean, didn't Foles got hurt in the last game, right? I mean, the dude that's playing for the Texans has been playing pretty well, and those guys are gonna play because they don't give a shit if they get the first round, if they get the number 1 pick or not. The players don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are gonna be, and they've played hard for the last 5 weeks. I mean, they've hung in there, and the Colts are favored. Give me the points,
Yeah,
man.
the Texans have not quit. I get it, but
Give me the points.
did they sew up? You said they sew up the number one draft pick
No,
yet?
well, they're 2-13-1. The Colts are 4-11. So even if they beat the Colts, they're still drafting in front of the Colts.
Give me the Texans. You give me. Yeah.
And anybody else that's a 3. Let me see if there's any other 3-win team.
You know, I'm a big fan of asking a terrible football team to win money for me.
I am. All right, so look. Oh, the
like to
Bears.
do.
The Bears. The Bears are 3-13. If the Bears lose to Minnesota, they'll be 3-14. If the Texans win, they'll be 3-13-1, which means they'd get the number 2 pick.
Who's the consensus number one draft pick? Do we know Bryce Young?
Bryce Young, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, since he's come out, I mean, it's got to be. So yeah, even if they win, the only team they can catch if they win is the Bears. So they've locked up the 1 or 2, the 2 pick.
Yeah, but the Bears are not going to take Bryce Young, are they?
Now they got Justin Fields. So why would you care?
Yeah, so he's going to fall to you
He'll
probably
fall-
anyway,
he'll
unless
just
somebody
fall in your
moves
lap.
up and drafts him.
The Bears will probably take Will Anderson or whoever. I don't
Give me the Texans.
Absolutely. Give me the points and the Texans there. I love it. Jets, Dolphins. Only thing I got here is the Dolphins are playing, and they're playing at the same time as the Pats. So they've got to win and have the Patriots lose.
I think Joe Flacco's starting for the Jets, and both their tackles are out.
Yeah, the Jets have just look. Give me the Dolphins right now are -3, but they got Skylar Thompson, but they've got Jalen Waddle, they got Tyreek Hill, they've got Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert. I think they can dial up enough offense to beat the Jets. What do you think? And the Jets can't score.
I don't think Joe Flacco finishes this game.
Well, neither. So at 3 points, as long as that line doesn't move up anymore, I like the Dolphins there against the Jets because they're going to be playing hard. I mean, they're going to give it everything they got. And the Jets are out. You talk about a game that I swear, if you bet this game, then you're just a degenerate,
Well,
and we are. So
yeah. Well, let's talk about it.
the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers visit the New Orleans Saints. Paul, take it away. Give me all your.
I got nothing.
Look, on my sheet right here, I'm gonna show it to you. I got no, and no. I mean, I don't even know where you start there with that game.
Not no, but hell no.
I'll tell you what I did do is I picked up Rasheen Shaheed from the Saints to fill in as a wide receiver this week for my fantasy team because I'm playing for the championship. If I didn't know if anybody, but yeah, your boy here is playing for the. It's okay, Paul. You'll get him next year, buddy. You'll get him next year.
And I know it ain't done hitting that button yet.
It's true. You are the commissioner. You can do what you want to do.
No, in this game, they got it. I mean, it's going to be, I don't know, 23-18 New Orleans. It's in New Orleans.
Probably the New Orleans will win it reluctantly.
Yeah. If you bet this game, you'd either know some shit or you are just a diehard whatever fan.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd bet that game.
All right, so another game that I really like. Browns visit your Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are -2.5. They got to have the win. They're all playing at the same time. They need the Dolphins and the Pats to lose. If they win, Mike Tomlin continues to never have a losing season in his entire tenure there at the Pittsburgh. Look,
That's a big deal, too.
you know I'm a diehard 49ers fan.
Wow.
And and even though you and my wife are Steelers fans, I don't necessarily pull for the Steelers unless they're just, but I'm pulling for Mike Tomlin here. He's a hell of a coach.
He's a great coach.
An absolute hell of a coach.
He just, I don't think it's him.
If he lost his job today, that guy's got to get a head coach. I mean, he's incredible.
They ain't gonna fire him. I know one they need to fire, but our management. I didn't say it at 47.
Matt Canada.
No, I mean I called for it last year, this year, and if they keep him, I'll be first game of next season. The first thing I'll say is fire Matt Canada. The guy's terrible. But the way they've run that organization is why they're so successful is they don't make rash decisions. They stay
Also
the course.
true. Yep.
They usually don't fire mid-season. They try to handle their business behind closed doors when nobody's watching. And that's just how they like to do things. So they'll hang on to this
Numbskull.
jack wagon as long as it takes to get them through the end of the season.
You know what's going to suck? He'll ruin Kenny Pickett. I mean, I think the kid can play. He threw a dime to Najee Harris last week to beat the Ravens. I mean, an absolute dime to win that game. The kid's got moxie. I like the way he plays. I loved him at the Panthers. But dude, you've got to get somebody else in there calling plays.
They look like, when I watch them play football, it's almost like, I don't know if y'all ever played video games, but you get when your team starts out that you only get like 5 or 6 plays you can call.
Just the 5.
But once you get like really good, you can call all the plays.
Yeah.
They're still stuck on the 5 or 6 shitty plays. They don't. They
got to open him up, man.
Let somebody get in there. Get me that dude over there with his socks off and a cigar, going, all right, we're going. Whatever.
Look, y'all got a great young wide receiver in George Pickens.
They got we got all the talent.
That dude can play. Najee Harris is a weapon. Freiermuth at the tight end is a weapon. Deontay Johnson can hold his own as a number 2. Pickens will be your number 1 going into next year.
There's no reason that team struggles week to week. We should be able to.
You should be 10-6 right now instead of 8-8. No, I get it. I feel sorry for. I get it. I can understand. All right, so we move to the Chargers and the Broncos. Chargers, they're in the playoffs. Denver's favored by 3 here. Denver's at home. The Chargers don't give 2 shits whether they win or lose. They're going to be the 5 or the 6 seed, win or lose. If they lose and the Ravens win, they're the 6th seed. Or if both teams lose, they're still the 5th seed. I don't know what you do here. That line's moved up a half a point. It's now 3. For Denver, that defense is legit for Denver. So if Chargers don't play Herbert and the other guys, Denver will maybe shut them out.
Yeah, the over-under on these games are low. There's 40 on this one.
I don't. You maybe take the under there in that game.
You may just go down the line and do a 6-point teaser on all the overs.
Unders and just
unders, take everything under 47.
That's not a bad play. The first afternoon game of the day, Giants and Eagles. Eagles are, there's no way in hell I'm laying 14 points. I wouldn't have laid 14 points 5 weeks ago. You do not lay double-digit points in the NFL. I don't care who's playing. You just don't do it. They may play Hurts a little to get him reacclimated, but are you really going to risk playing him in a meaningless game? I mean, not meaningless. If they win, they're the number 1 seed. Are you going to risk playing him even though he has a hurt shoulder?
Yeah, here's another 13-3 to the under this year. The Eagles are. The Giants are 9-6-1, and this is a game they're not going to have all their players.
Look, and that line wouldn't be 14 if the Giants keep saying they're going to play and they're not going to lay down. But that line wouldn't be 14. Vegas wouldn't have made that 14 if they thought the Giants were going to play Barkley and Jones. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't make that line 14 if Barkley and Jones are playing.
This summit could be 17-3.
Absolutely. Then that's a push, but it's definitely the under. I don't hate the under there.
I mean, the people. I'm telling you, I'm going through here. The only game that's being really, when I call it hammered, I'm just saying,
bet.
It looks like they're being bet on the over is the Vikings-Bears game. And I don't understand that.
Justin Fields may get loose a few times and put up some points, and then Justin Jefferson maybe is looking for some escalators to get some extra bonus points in his contract. I don't know.
But honestly, that's it. Everything else is to the under.
All right, so we move to the next game. That's the Arizona Cardinals visit my San Francisco 49ers, who have now reeled off 9 in a row to sit at 12-4. They could actually get the number 1 seed if the Eagles lose and the 49ers win. Here's another 14.5-point spread. I'm not taking the Niners here. They're not going to play Christian McCaffrey because he's got a small. He's played with an ankle sprain for the last 4 weeks, and you've seen what McCaffrey's done on a sprained ankle. So they're going to let him rest. Here's what you do. You go look what Brandon Ayuk's over receiving yards are. He's going to benefit because Brock Purdy's going to play because this guy needs to continue to get reps. Now, he's been great. Don't get me wrong. And he got down 10 points, and he showed you what he could do against the Raiders. He came back. He brought that team back twice. Should have won it in regulation. Brock Purdy's been really, really good. That defense didn't show up last week. But I'm not laying the 14.5 here with San Francisco. They're going to do just enough to win, just to keep their hopes alive, to stay in the number 2 spot, 1. If they win, they stay at number 2. The Eagles lose, they jump to number 1. But don't bet. I mean, if you do anything, take the Cardinals plus 14.5. But maybe play the under here and look at Brandon Ayuk's over/under receiving.
I don't see a prop for him. I just see their projection.
It should be in there. I guarantee you can find a player prop on Brandon Ayuk. He's had a hell of a year. He needs 44 yards to break 1,000. So I guarantee you
They'll try to get him. Yeah,
they'll try to get him to 1,000. Mike Shanahan's really good at that. I mean, Mike Shanahan, blast from the past. Kyle Shanahan's really good at that. Is scheming guys open. Elijah Mitchell is coming back this week. They're going to get him some play. And Deebo Samuel is ready to go. They're going to get him reacclimated. So I really like the 49ers to win this game, but there's no point taking the money line because it's probably be -3, 400.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't like the spread, but I like Ayuk's over/under in that game. And maybe Brock Purdy, I don't know, he may not play the whole game. I mean, oh my! I don't know what just happened in room number 2 back there. Where there's some things are going on.
I scored a touchdown.
Can we just talk about this for a minute? I had this conversation come up. There's been lots of talk about Coach of the Year. Okay, and I hate to be a homer, but I'm going to homer a little bit right here, Paul. There's been so much talk about Brian Daboll getting Coach of the Year.
Okay.
For the New York Giants. Okay.
I don't hate it, but okay.
Who have they beaten?
Maybe.
I know they're in the playoffs, but tell me what playoff team.
What are you asking me?
I'm just gonna I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna give you the Giants wins. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
The Giants have beaten the Colts. They've beaten the Commanders.
Okay.
They've beaten the Texans.
Okay.
They did beat the Jags back before the Jags got rolling.
Okay.
They beat the Ravens. They beat the Packers back when the Packers were like 2-5. They beat the Bears. They beat the Panthers and the Titans.
So you're telling me that they won 12 games?
No, they've won, 9?
9 games?
Oh, and they also beat and that's preseason. So they beat the Colts, the Commanders, the Texans, the Jags, the Ravens, the Packers, the Bears, the Panthers, and the Titans. They haven't beaten world beaters. Is that you see what I'm getting at here?
Yeah, I got you.
They had a weak schedule and they capitalized. Hey, the dude made it to the playoffs. But you got my boy Kyle Shanahan sitting with a 12-4 team that's reeled off 9 wins in a row, and 5 of those by a third-string quarterback. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, he literally got the jersey that said Mr. Irrelevant on it. And he's now led his team to 5 consecutive wins. You're telling me you're going to vote for Brian Daboll over Kyle Shanahan after what that team has done? I get it. They got the number 1 defense. Well, not now, because after the last game, the Eagles jumped over them just barely. But what do you think? Tell me. I
like Dan Campbell.
For the Lions?
Yeah.
I don't hate that.
I like him over Brian Daboll. I got your argument because he went through a lot as far as that goes. They made the adjustment mid-season to go get McCaffrey.
Well, that's true. They did bring in Christian McCaffrey.
They've done, And the only thing I would say about the ball is that there's other coaches that had the same damn team he's got now and could not get shit done.
True. That's true. That's true.
I like Dan Campbell. I like Daboll, and then I like your guy.
Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, I just think doing it with a third string guy. I mean, I think those 3 guys should be the 3 guys up for it. Rams, Seahawks. I like the Seahawks here at home. Laying 6 points because the Seahawks have to win. That's basically what I got there.
Yeah, I have a play on that one, but you got to give me a minute so I can get it pulled up.
I mean, do the Rams want to spoil the season? I don't think the Rams care at this point.
I like the Cam Akers over rushing on that one.
He's come along the end of the season. Boy, his first of the season started off really bad.
I'm just not sure. That whole backfield thing is weird. I don't know if it's the offense, but they can't settle on a damn running back.
No, they cannot. They have not been able to do it in 3 or 4 years now.
Let's see.
We'll move on from that game. There's not a whole lot there. Again, I like the Seahawks.
It's 73, but I think he gets there. He'll probably get 100 yards.
Yeah, I like the Seahawks to get that win, and I like them to get it pretty good. I think I like them a 10-point win there because literally, like I said, they have to win. to keep their hopes alive.
Yeah, it's 26-18 is what they're projecting on that
The
one.
Cowboys have a chance to get the number 1 seed, but they'll already know what the Eagles have done, and so that kind of puts a damper on this game. And I kind of like the Cowboys big over the Commanders. The Commanders are going to start the rookie Sam Howell from North Carolina. But I like the boys here just because. Well, I say that, but they'll already know the Eagles play at 3:25. All of them, the Eagles, 49ers, Cowboys, all play at the same time.
Oh,
So the Cowboys would need to go.
What a
Hey, they finally got
scenario.
one right. They finally got one right. How about that? I like the boys big here because if they win and they get 2 losses, they're the number 1 seed.
Yep.
So I don't hate the Cowboys laying the 7 there, even though Dak Prescott's got more interceptions than anybody. He's only played half the season. But I digress.
Well, it's a small field over there in Plano.
Is it? Are you sure?
No, they play on a tiny field.
I know I got a boy out in Texas that likes to listen, and he's a big Cowboys fan, but that's just my thoughts there. I like the running back, Tony Pollard. A really good running back there. But I like the Cowboys big in that game. I see them covering the 7 pretty easy.
I wouldn't go out there and bet a whole lot of money on nothing this Sunday and Saturday. I'll be honest with you.
No, I've got some. I got a teaser there. I like the Cowboys. That obviously in my teaser there because I think they're going to go out there and get that win.
Yeah, I'm all about the $25 bag of corn and
Absolutely.
$40 teaser here. There, just
right.
don't go out there and stick your
Well,
foot in nothing.
You start talking about the big Sunday night game, and I'll come give my thoughts on it.
No, you always run off. It's going to talk about the ballerina.
The ballerina.
No, the ballet. So you're done. All right, we got Detroit at Green Bay. That's the same Dan Campbell led team I was talking about earlier. I don't know. Sportsline's got it 29-21. Green Bay -5. You just got to figure out what they're going to do earlier in the evening because they have literally handcuffed them. Because if it falls a certain way, Detroit probably doesn't care. And it sucks that they've done this, and I hope they change it. I hope they flex it. They have the ability to flex this game, and they should. Let's see, money wise, what's going on? We got. Looks like the against the spread money's coming in on Detroit, pretty heavy. Over under's pretty even. I don't know. You just got to figure out what they're gonna do early.
Dude, that line was 4. Now it's 5.
I mean, you just got to figure out what. I mean, you don't know. You can't pre-flop bet that because you don't know what they're gonna be walking into.
Because if the Seahawks win, it changes the whole tenor of that game.
Man,
I mean, if the Seahawks lose, hey, now we got a game. But you're counting on a team to. I mean, that's why this game shouldn't. They should be playing at the exact same time the Seahawks are playing. It's so ridiculous that they're playing the Sunday night football game. I mean, I don't understand it. I just don't.
I don't. It's stupid. I wouldn't bet that game. I just wouldn't.
So basically, pretty much, the 49ers are probably going to end up being the 2 seed. So whoever makes it between the Seahawks, the Lions, and the Packers, one of those 3 teams will be going out to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers. And I've seen some people say, "Oh my goodness, what if the Packers win? And do you want to play the Packers?" Like,
They've owned the
the Packers. And what has Aaron Rodgers done in the playoffs in the last 8-9 years that makes you think he's going to just all of a sudden take over?
Well, he'll get out there and throw picks, that's for sure.
I mean, we've owned Aaron Rodgers as of late. We've already beaten the Seahawks twice this year. I mean, the Lions are more scary than anybody because they can score all the points. I mean, they got really good wide receivers. But Jared Goff, I mean, we owned Jared Goff when he was with the Rams. So not really worried about any of those teams. But yeah, I don't know how you bet that game until like 7:00 that night, or at least until you know what the Seahawks did.
Yeah, I don't. You don't just leave that shit alone.
Of course, the problem is if you wait for the Seahawks to lose, you know what that line's going to do. It's going to go up to 7 or 8 for the Packers.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically just, like I said, just pre-flop bet it. You're asking for heartbreak.
It just sucks that the game is late because I'd love to see that being played earlier just for the drama of it all. I just hate that the NFL kind of
The NFL
fumbled that one.
Yeah, they suck.
So look, it's a great time of the year. NFL playoffs are awesome. We cannot wait to start talking about the NFL playoffs, and when all this gets settled, it's going to be a really good time. But as we move forward, tomorrow, if you don't hear this tonight, you'll hear it Saturday morning. There's tons of college basketball going on. We're now into league play. We're into conference play. These mid-major games, a lot of them are where they at. I've done pretty well. I mean, we've hit American. I've hit Fairfield. I mean, Santa Clara last night against Pepperdine. I mean, it's teams you don't even think about. You go out there and you find them. You find the ones that you think are the better team. And look, home court advantage is a big thing for a lot of these teams. So be aware of that.
It's funny if you just know anything about college athletics or just basketball in general. You start looking through these mid-majors and you find names you know.
Absolutely.
It's weird. Especially in the coaching set. I mean, you just find players. Oh, yeah, I know that guy.
You know, for 2 years there, we were rolling with Iona just because Rick Pitino was there. Yeah. I don't know how well they've done. They're doing okay this year, but
man, he can bring his ass right on up there to Oxford.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd take him in a heartbeat. You know, you got like last night, Charlotte played FIU. And it was only a 4-point game, and I really liked Charlotte in that game, even though they were on the road, because Charlotte's played real well all year. They lost outright to FIU, who's won like 3 games all year. I mean, so teams on the road, be careful laying points with teams on the road in conference play, because you know these teams see each other a lot every year. It makes a difference when you're at home.
Well, it's Creighton, UConn. UConn's coming off 2 back-to-back losses. 6.5
Yeah, UConn got worked over by Providence. I loved Providence the other night, and it hit. But they won outright.
Creighton's playing good. They lost to Marquette, but other than that,
they're 3-1 in the Big East. I mean, they're off to a good start in conference play.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. I mean, it's only
7.5 is a lot of points.
There's no money line on this one yet. I see.
Texas lost. They fired Chris Beard today. Or was that yesterday?
What a damn moron! Him and that other knucklehead for the UFC out there slapping people and women and fuck them. You ought to put that dude in the ring with somebody to slap his ass around a little ways.
I tell you one game I like tomorrow at 11 o'clock on CBS. The Missouri Tigers take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. Missouri's at home. They're laying 9, and I don't hate it. That's a lot of points, but Missouri is playing incredible basketball. They stumbled at Arkansas, but Arkansas's got talent. They've got young guys. And I know they're a little banged up, but Arkansas battled back from like 14 down and came back and won that game. But Missouri just kept coming at them all game long. I think Missouri handles Vanderbilt pretty good tomorrow.
Okay.
That's one that's just at first glance, that's kind of one. I like Alabama at home tomorrow over the Kentucky Wildcats. There's no line on that right now that I see. I don't know if you got a line on that game, Paul.
Which game?
Kentucky at Alabama.
Oh, yeah, I saw one while ago. I don't.
Alabama can shoot the lights out, and they've got a couple of.
Alabama was favored. Alabama minus 5.5.
Ooh, 5.5. I think they cover. I mean, I really do. I don't hate it. I was trying to look. I'm just scrolling through, seeing if there's anything that really sticks out. Well, that Houston Cougars team's playing pretty good again.
They got a good defense.
Absolutely. They beat the hell out of a team last night, the SMU, by damn near 40. It was a 20-point spread, and they beat them by almost 40.
See, with that loyal Chicago team isn't the same.
They're not the same this year. They're 6-8 on the year, 0-2 in the A10. They take on George Mason tomorrow at 1 o'clock. George Mason is a 7-point favorite. I wouldn't touch that game.
It kind of hurts my feelings. I like seeing the little nun out there.
Any team that sticks out to me. Michigan State, Michigan play tomorrow at 1:30. Not going to touch that game. They're Michigan's at Michigan State. Wake at Louisville. Louisville. You talking about a team struggling.
Ain't good.
Ooh, boy. Grand Canyon visits Stephen F. Austin. That's only a 1-point game there. Stephen F. Austin at home, favored by 1
Dude,
point.
I like betting them.
I like Stephen F. Austin there to take down Grand Canyon. Lost to Sam Houston State last night or 2 nights ago, so they're coming off a pretty quick turnaround there. I don't hate Stephen F. Austin at home against Grand Canyon. Not a bad game there.
There's that Georgia Tech team. They play Florida State at Florida State, and they're 2.5.
Florida State's been
They're
bad.
getting 2.5 points.
Let's see. Anything else?
Yeah, we'll just have to put it on Twitter tomorrow, I guess.
We will. We'll dive through some of these games and we'll put it out on the Twitter sphere. I was just seeing if there's any team I bet this year that you like to see them at home, but it seems like every time I look, it's like, oh, they're on the road. Oh, they're on the road. Oh, they're on the road.
And the spread's over 10.
Yeah, that's over 10. Yeah, they're on the road laying 10. That's no fun.
I was out there beating the shit out of Marist.
Tonight,
It's 52-29.
Baylor, Kansas State ought to be a pretty good game. Richmond, Duquesne should be a good game. Duquesne's playing pretty well, but they're on the road.
I don't hate Notre Dame there against North Carolina at 11 o'clock. At 10:30. 10:30 in the morning. Goodness.
It's in there. Oh my
Better get
God.
that breakfast in
Yeah,
your boys.
better get in there and get dialed into that game early.
Against the spread, okay? Hear me out.
All right, I'm listening.
College basketball, Notre Dame against the spread this year is 2-12-1.
Oh my God, on the road. And they're on the road.
Yeah,
right?
North Carolina at home is 4-11. Who
Who do you take there? I mean,
why do you bet that, Paul?
no, don't do it. Don't do it, Paul. Stay away. Stay away.
Minus 12.5. Good.
I'll tell you some teams to watch. Watch that Santa Clara team. They're pretty good. Watch Longwood. I mean, they'll probably find them some NCAA extra basketball games. Longwood's pretty good. Hawaii's been really good, but they've played most of their games at home. But Hawaii's beat a few teams. They're not bad. San Francisco is a pretty good team. They're 0-3 in their conference, which is
the
weird.
Dons,
But they played Gonzaga. Gonzaga had to get a last-second shot to beat San Francisco last night.
Yeah, they got to play Gonzaga, St. Mary.
They get Loyola Marymount tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, and Loyola Marymount at 12-5, 2-1. The WCC is a 3-point favorite at home. Pepperdine's a 7-point favorite against Pacific. I like Pacific on the road there, plus the 7. I mean, you'll find us talking about teams you never heard of. So where's the big conference games? I mean, they're harder to cap than some of these other.
Too much involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we'll hop on the Twitter. We'll do a better job of that. We'll do it throughout the day because these games are all throughout the day. So you've heard our NFL talk. We're going to do a better job of watching the horses. We've already said that we've got
It's that
the
time of year.
TVs at the house have been neglected a little bit, Paul. We got to get back out there and let them know that we're still around.
Yeah.
So we're going to start watching some of the Derby points races and see who's going to, because I'm going to the Derby this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to hold on to that promise and come make good on that. The wife is already looking for hats, so we're going to start looking around and find our way to the Derby, find our way to Kentucky this year. But hey, Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2023. Let's make it a good one for Cash and Tickets and everybody else out there. You don't have to follow us. You can fade us if you want to, but we're going to give you our thoughts and what we think, and we're going to try to do a little better job on the Twitter of giving you the picks.
Let us know what you think out there.
Yeah, or tweet us back and say, "Hey, that's the worst pick I've heard all day." Well, that's fine too. We're not always right. I mean, nobody is always right. So, anyway, I don't know. You got anything else? Any closing arguments, statements? Anything you want to talk about, Paul?
No, we're going to be sporadic getting these shows out just so we can figure out the best way it works without the Saturday, Sunday college football. We just got to figure it out.
Yeah, we'll probably be doing podcasts later, kind of like we're doing this one on Friday night, just because we really like college basketball, and those lines don't come out till late. Like for Saturday, they don't come out till like 6 or 7 o'clock on a Friday. So we may start doing Friday podcasts to talk about college basketball, and you'll get that Saturday morning. You can listen to it on your drive to the casino or on your app to pay the bookie or wherever you
Oh, Louis the Lip.
to wherever you reside and however you make your bets. But stay tuned to the Twitter sphere if you're interested in our thoughts, and we'll try to get those picks out there for you. So I guess we're gonna close it there.
That sounds good.
All right, so it's been another edition of Cash and Tickets. I'm Franklin. That's Paul.
Bye.
Again, hit the like and subscribe. Catch us at Twitter, Poolside Bets, on YouTube at Poolside Bet. And we will see you next week. Good luck and Happy New Year.
Bye.